Hi everyone, it's Shane. Let's make sure we got everything going here. Connect. Are we there? Hello? Can you hear me? Trying something new here. Hi boys and girls, it's Shane. Welcome in on another vampire story night. I hope you'll enjoy joining us as we read Varney the Vampire. This story is 50 years older than Dracula. I'm trying out some new audio stuff on one of our social platforms here, so let me know how this sounds as we go. Hi, welcome in. We'll actually begin our reading in 30 minutes, so if you're watching this recorded later, you can skip ahead 30 minutes if you want to get to the story. Today we're reading Varney the Vampire. This story is 50 years older than Dracula. 50 years older than Dracula. Isn't that amazing? And it's been an incredible read. It's wonderful. It's about a vampire who's attempting to buy some property and is unfortunately discriminated against for some reason. If everyone can hear me, let me know. We're trying out some new equipment today, and I want to make sure everyone can hear me. Tearing down some shelving in a crawl space. There's usually not shelving in a crawl space. That's a little unusual. Wonderful. Thank you for letting me know. Check, check. So what we're looking at, now that our audio check is complete and everyone can hear me, is reading a wonderful story in 30 minutes. And I hope you'll enjoy joining us as we do. No, I don't really get tired. The carnivore diet gives me a lot of energy. It's amazing how much plants steal your energy from you. Welcome in, Kevin. So 1999, somebody put shelving in the crawl space. That's so weird. So weird. Well, I don't eat plants on my diet, Trevor. I'd say my diet is very carnivore. I'm clear on both. Thank you, Kelly. I appreciate that assistance. What's in the glass? This is an exotic bouquet of salts and water. It is delicious. So good. Greetings. Welcome in, everybody. Hey, Smelly, welcome back. We are only 400-ish followers away from 400,000 followers today. So make sure to follow if you haven't followed before. That's here on the TikTok, of course. And yes, I'm still running for mayor of Fort Smith. Absolutely. How can you deal with black mold on a bathroom ceiling? Usually there's not adequate ventilation if you're having mold on the ceiling. Do you have a bathroom vent? Well, it's been about, it was 1 year ago. No, about 10 months ago I had 100K. I'm up to about 400K now. Watched a TikTok where the tenant cut down a tree and it fell on the roof. What would I do? I would probably swear at least once, maybe twice. And then I would call my insurance agent because that's what they're for. Thank you. That's really cool. Thank you so much. The gifts help a lot. Fort Smith is weird, so I fit right in. Well, thank you. I prefer to be weird. I've met normal, and I'd rather be weird. Jennifer is getting ready for our evening together. It is the privilege of a beautiful woman to be able to keep us all waiting anxiously for her arrival. How do I feel about Bernie Sanders? He's a dude from the Northeast that made a lot of money telling people making money is bad. Um, so he fits right in with most other politicians. Hypocritical. Although he didn't make as much as many of the other politicians. I'll give him that. I do think he has a little bit more honor, but welcome in, Sandy. If you can hear me, say hello. Time for a packing video. It'll be about 2 weeks before I do a packing video, I think, sometime around then. Oh, sorry, black mold issue on the bathroom. So if you're having black mold on your ceiling, it's usually inadequate ventilation. So putting in a vent to get the steam out of the bathroom can help. Turning down the temperature of the shower so it's not as steamy can help. And another thing you can do is use a mold unaliving primer. Well, you need to clean the ceiling mildew off, and then use a mold unaliving primer you can find at the hardware store. And then use a bathroom paint, not just a regular paint on your ceiling, but a bathroom rated paint. And a bathroom paint is going to be more mold resistant than regular paint. That was just this morning that happened. I have not been back in the house since I did the walkthrough. Another thing that you can do if you're still having issues is check to make sure your ceiling is insulated enough. If you're getting cold air up in the attic and then the warm moist air on the ceiling, it'll condense on it a lot more, and that will cause the water to set right on the sheetrock and right on the paint. And if your paint is not mold resistant, then that's going to cause you a problem at that point. It's salt water, yes, it has electrolytes. How will I fix the fire damage in the eviction home? I'm going to do some research on that and figure it out. Make sure to follow and you'll see how it happens. So the mayor of Fort Smith is a figurehead position. They have no real authority. The reason why I'm running for the mayor is to try to change that for the next mayor that would be elected. So between me and 3 other city council members that we're all going to try to get elected at once, that would give us 4 votes on the city council. And we think that will be enough to be able to shift our city from an administrative form of government to a mayoral form of government, so that the mayor will actually run everything. But it would be the mayor that follows me, not myself. And then the mayor would actually be able to put together an agenda and hire and fire people. You dry your shower walls every time, and you spray ISO alcohol every shower. That would help to evaporate things a little bit quicker. I have not gotten my account back yet. Right now, the hacker is currently winning, and it's sad, but it's true. The imposter account is 132,000 followers, stealing my content, posting it regularly on the Book of the Faces. And the Book of Faces' way of handling this was taking me down, even though I was verified with a blue check and everything, and have had accounts since 2008 or 2009 under the same name. I'm not. Yeah, it's completely wild. I would have never imagined it. Thoughts on the 50-year home loans? That's going to make your houses more expensive, everyone, so don't get too excited. If you own houses, it's good for you. It means your homes are about to go up in value. Yeah, it's not been pleasant, Jelly, but it's going to be okay. We're going to get through it all. The hacker is on the Book of the Faces, not on TikTok.
It's an imposter.
Yeah, it's an imposter, not really a hacker. Yes, every 50,000 touches to the screen that makes little hearts appear on the TikTok, I will do magic for you. You sent me a message. I check my messages periodically, but I definitely get a lot, so it may take me a while to get to it. Did I once live in Fayetteville? No, but I'm from the area. I'm not far from Fayetteville. I've definitely been up there many, 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 many times. This is the real Shane's profile, yes. Hello, I'm Shane. Everyone wait patiently. It is the privilege of a beautiful woman to make us wait anxiously for her arrival. Tang Sudo, ITF, Jiu Jitsu, and Sambo. Those are the four martial arts, King. Good question. Well, welcome in, Phoenix, and I'm sorry you're going through a difficult situation. However, sometimes change can lead you to the best things in life. I don't know, Josie, I don't know. It could be a deep fake AI. That's the possibility. I could be a deep fake, I guess, but you'll just have to hang out with me and find out. You'll get to see her soon enough, Jason. I've got over 10 years of jiu-jitsu. The silent treatment the silent treatment during a breakup is very challenging, I know, because you want to know what's going on. You want to validate the separation or validate what you did wrong. And the best thing to do is focus on your own happiness. And this is true no matter what circumstances of your breakup. Figure out how you become happy as you are, with who you are, and the way that you are. Once you become happy with yourself, it will become much easier for you to be happy with someone else. No, I didn't break up. Somebody else was going through a breakup. If you know anything about me, you know that I'm not breaking up with my beautiful wife. Sorry to, some people are joining in at different times of a conversation. No, we've been together more than 24 years and not going anywhere. You're planning on Airbnb and flips with a home building business you're starting next year. I hope that that works out really well for you. How do you stay so calm? How do you stay so anxious? It must take a lot of work to spend all your time worrying about things, right? You see, anxiety and emotions and a lot of those things are geared towards human survival. And when we're going through a forest and we might get hunted by a tiger and we have to be alert, there's a good reason to be anxious and on edge because it's the kind of thing that could save our lives. So we've evolved. We've evolved to be anxious. We've evolved to be on edge. We've evolved to be capable of surviving in difficult situations. But in reality, we now live in a world where we're not being hunted by tigers. We're not in a world where we have to be on absolute edge, where the slightest mistake is going to cost us our lives. That is a world that's gone now. Now we live in a world where almost everything for us is taken care of, and there's very little bad that's going to happen. The bad things that are going to happen are mostly inconveniences. They mean we're going to have to work harder, or we're going to face some difficult times for a little while, or, that's the nature of our current situation. But our anxiety still wants to apply to that as though we're being hunted by tigers. And that causes a lot of confusion within our brains, I feel like. I think that's where a lot of that happens. I have about 20 properties. You're going to marry my wife. That would be a challenge since polygamy isn't allowed in the United States. Leslie, I'll tell you about my teeth another time. Actually, sometimes I publish videos about them. You might watch one of those. Thank you very much, Sheen. Sometimes I feel like I need a team. Managing 20 properties is a lot of work. We did adopt a bat. You saw him if you watched one of my Vampire Den walkthrough videos. You can see you can see our bat Calvin, who's at Luby Bat Sanctuary. My explanation of anxiety helped your anxiety. Well, I'm very glad that that could help you. I'm really here to help, and there are many different ways that we can be helpful to each other. I think we're having issues here, so I'm going to try changing this up and see if that helps. We're trying some new equipment out on one of the other channels, so I think I need to spend some time working with it before I try using it. Oh, I'm getting there. There we go. Make sure to follow if you haven't already followed. We're getting close to our 400,000 followers, and I'd love to hit that number before the day is out. I think we need about 400 followers. I think a lot of people are kind nowadays. I do believe there are a lot of kind people. The problem is that people don't know how to be kind anymore. Just like, well, I'll put it this way. There's a type of toxicity that can come from being nice to people. There is a point like you can coddle someone and try to relieve them from everything to the point that it can truly become a toxic trait where you make someone comfortable enough they don't change their situation. You tell them it's okay. You're just in a tough situation. The world's just hard. It's that's just the way it is, and it's that way for a lot of us right now. And those kinds of statements are not helpful. Sometimes it's important for us to feel the pain of our situation so we will be motivated to change our situation. You have to feel a certain amount of pain to overcome the discomfort of changing your situation. And we have the ability now to get comfortable and just zone out on our little devices, and I'll just listen to my favorite thing, or I'll do this, and you can totally zone out enough to get comfortable in your whatever situation it is that normally a human would be motivated to change. And that's a toxic thing. That is a bad thing. Don't allow yourself to become comfortable. I'm glad I can bring you calmness, but I also want to motivate you to change your situation, fix your credit, to learn how to buy houses, learn how to repair homes and do work around your house. Those are the goals that I have while I'm here. So don't let me just calm you to the point that you're comfortable in a bad situation. Allow yourself to become uncomfortable enough that you will change it. Have you ever thought about doing a podcast? I've actually got a podcast in mind for nearly a year. I've got everything set up almost for it, except the time to do it. I'm actually a hypnotist, Santana. I studied hypnotherapy for a while and did hypnosis for a few years, and I'm pretty good at it. But you copied my Hi Shane in the Mirror, filmed a hotel room to my family, and that sounds wonderful. Thanks, Wolf. The video game thing. So somebody says video games fill that void. People do not feel pain. That video games don't fill the void for feeling pain. What video games will do for you is they tickle the same part of your brain that would usually be used to motivate you to do work. So your brain, when you complete a task, gives you a dopamine reward and says, good job, you finished this thing. Video games give you that same reward. Oh, you just leveled up, and it gives you a dopamine hit. When you play a video game, though, it gives you that dopamine hit over and over rapidly. Whereas normal life gives you that reward for finishing a task sometimes the end of a week, sometimes 2 or 3 days into a project. And it will make you to where you don't have the patience to wait to complete something for that dopamine rush of completing a task. The video games make you want it really fast. Now, that said, I enjoy video games, but it's important to understand what they are doing to you and understand how to keep your brain trained to behave properly and use them in a moderative manner, not using them all the time. Actually, like rather than playing Minecraft in a digital world and building something like, look at this cool thing I built, come play real world Minecraft out here with me. The resolution is unbelievable and the 3D effects are incredible. They even render the smells in the real world. And I can tell you, you've never felt a dopamine like you will feel when you complete a house. You'll never feel like you feel when you've completed an entire place for people to come live. Yes, this is saltwater. I'm happy to help. I'm very happy to help. My kids are 20 and 22. They can do whatever they like. She's getting close to coming in here. Everybody get ready. Here she comes. Oh, look at you. Oh.
Good evening.
Wow.
Gotta send my heart me.
She's so gorgeous.
Thank
Salt
you.
is another word for electrolytes.
I did the heart me. Yay!
You have the savings to purchase 2 homes in my area. However, I live in Reno, Nevada, close to Tahoe.
Ooh.
Yeah, we were up there a couple of years ago. It's beautiful, beautiful space.
I've done, I think, all the things I need to do for my fan club service for you today.
Fan service for me today.
Fan service.
We can do that after we turn off the cameras. Isn't that necklace incredible? How much do you think this necklace cost?
Sometimes we're really good bargain shoppers.
$150.
Try $3. $3. You know, you go to the clearance aisle at the Wally World.
Yeah, it was very cheap.
14 shekels.
Yes, we've played Dungeons and Dragons. Did you notice our D20? I like to play bards. It's got Queen of the Damned vibes. Oh, you guys say the sweetest things, darling.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You laid an egg. Ooh.
Do we celebrate Christmas? Usually I work on Christmas. The last, 2 of the last 3 years. Yeah, I think I got last Christmas, didn't I? I think I managed to take last Christmas off. One Christmas 2 years ago, I was under a house thawing out frozen pipes. We had an unusual freeze in December. Very unusual to have it freezing like that time of year. So I was trying to help a house get pipes unthawed.
This would be electrolyte water. There is sodium, magnesium, and potassium inside.
Various salts. Where do we find our furniture? Thrifting, online marketplaces, those kinds of places is generally where it comes from.
Favorite family Christmas memory?
You're about to rent my space. Which themed Airbnb are you going to rent, Zach? Where are the crystals? We have them around somewhere. There were some crystals that somebody got us.
Are we displaying crystals?
Well, the ones that we got, like the crystal jewelry stuff that we had gotten.
I wore the coral bracelet Monday, and I wore the pink last week. But I'll go get a crystal, and we can have it here on the table while we're reading.
I miss you already, darling. Hurry back. She is so beautiful. So you're going to stay in the Star Lab. Ah, that's my favorite one currently. What is the big dice for? In case we need to make a perception check or a persuasion check of some kind. Well, thank you so much, Trash Man. Here in a few minutes, we're going to be reading a vampire story to you. Make sure to follow if you guys haven't followed. We're only a few hundred followers away from 400,000 on TikToks. Thank you, Jelly.
There you go. Labradorite.
Look at that crystal. This one's so pretty if you can get the reflection just right on it. The light hits it just right. It's so cool. Are we in an open marriage? No. She's mine.
He's my darling one.
Labradorite? Is that what it's called?
Yes. It was a wonderful gift. It is neat how it shines and sparkles.
Shay's been doing okay. He's working on a project with another friend of ours in the area, and he and I are going to be working together again, probably starting up next week.
I made the carnivore cheesecake today, my friend. So I'm sorry if you missed it. And I did it on live, so I don't have video that I have saved.
The fangs only show when she's hungry. She fed before this started.
I licked the bowl.
Can you do a hair tutorial?
It does look pretty happy today, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Been very happy with it. I don't normally use hairspray, so I don't even have any in the house. But today I was like, it came out so pretty. I kind of want to be able to go shh.
If you're interested in renting one of my properties, send me a message and pay attention. And when I have one available, we can work it out.
I made carnivore cheesecake today.
Mm.
Am I into witchy things? I'm not a witch. I'm something else.
Ah, I love you.
I love you.
Someone says, Shane, don't cut her off when she's talking. I'll do what I want.
Is carnivore cheesecake? So the carnivore cheesecake, the carnivore cheesecake that I make was a no-bake. It's 3 packages of Philadelphia cream cheese. You want the full fat. We don't do the fat-free or anything like that around here. We take full fat. And then it's also a cup and a quarter of heavy whipping cream that you take and you beat and make it nice and fluffy. And then you take a half cup of sour cream. You beat that into your Philadelphia cream cheese until they're the best of friends, like the super, super best friends. And then you gently fold in your heavy whipping cream that you've made all fluffy. And then you put it in your cheesecake pan and you let it mingle in the refrigerator for 8 to 24 hours. It's so good. Why do you feel like you're interrupting something? We're just here. I have considered doing ASMR. I was thinking about doing that on the longer video format platform where I can do a good 30-minute video of nice talking.
Just so you know, any day that I have to spend the day away from her while I'm working, I'm always going to be a lot more handsy when you see us together. Touch is one of my major love language. I like to touch and feel the skin of the people that I love. And I was away from her today doing a lot of work for most of the day, and it makes me want to just touch her. That's important to me. It's important to understand the way that you show love and the way that you feel love, and make sure that you help each other to feel loved in the relationship, because not everybody loves the same way.
No, he's not going to bite me right now. That's for later, you naughty people, you.
We've been together 24 years.
Thank you so much.
You think you're everything equally? Most people favor one or the other, and sometimes people are better at showing one type of language but receiving another.
I think I'm a really good mix of a bunch of them. I'm not really sure what my primary is. I suspect it is love, but I know that
You suspect it's love.
I'm touch. I know that I definitely exhibit all of them.
Mm-hmm. She likes to show love through serving people. I don't know that she realizes how much she tries to serve people that she loves. So if somebody's here, can I get you anything? Would you like a drink? Would you like something to eat? And if we have a party or something, she will stress all day. Do we take care of this? I want to get extra food. I don't want anybody to not have enough food. All those things become really important to her.
Actually, I'm about to go, after we finish this, I'm going to make slightly more cheesecake. Because I'm like, what if there isn't enough cheesecake for everyone? Thank you. But the turkey, I'm pretty confident there's enough for everyone because I bought a 22-pound turkey and I added 3 pounds of bacon to it.
3 pounds of bacon?
Oh, yes, dear.
You are the best.
And then if our friend decides to come and enjoy our time together that has the alpha-gal, then I'm going to send Savior to the store for one of those rotisseries.
Okay, that sounds perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. Oh, you're amazing. Yes, this is my son's mother. We have 2 together.
Mm-hmm.
How do we go about arguments? We don't have arguments.
Yes, we do.
No, dear, we don't.
Yes, my darling.
Darling, I would know if we had arguments.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes, I would.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes, I would.
I guess we don't have arguments.
And no, we don't have arguments.
This isn't wallpaper. This is his own mix mash of stuff that we call Magic Wall SHI.
Oh, it's already 7 o'clock. It's time to start our vampire story.
Oh, good. Do our recap, darling.
So, Varney the Vampire. We've already read the first volume and we're getting well along into the second volume. It starts off with our delightful and honorable vampire, Varney. And
oh, we've frozen on one of the platforms.
We're back. It'll come back. So, Varney wanted to buy a place called Bannerworth Hall and was willing to make reasonable offers and efforts in order to purchase it. Yet, for whatever reason, the humans were discriminating against him because he was a vampire. They didn't want to sell it to him. So the humans aroused mobs and they ended up burning his house down and chased him out of town and into hiding and many other things. But eventually it came to pass that he got a picture frame from Bannerworth Hall, which is really all he wanted, that was loaded with so much money.
We're thinking big picture, not little picture.
Yes, huge painting frame, and it was loaded full of money. And the money was then used to become Baron. He's now playing the part of a Baron and has put together a big party in order to live in his big estate and try to find a certain bride that he would delight in. And he's found Helene, and he's become smitten with her. And Helene's mother is deeply in debt and needs money. Helene doesn't necessarily want to marry Varney, but Varney figured through the magical power of money and offering it to the mother, he would be able to convince the mother to make the arrangements. And that pretty much just happened. So now Helene has agreed begrudgingly to marry our delightful Varney. And I can honestly tell you that Varney's probably too good for her.
But she has someone she loves.
Yeah, somebody not as good as Varney. Varney's amazing.
He's been away at sea, and he was just barely rescued from a terrible shipwreck.
How do we know that?
Because it happened in our story.
The shipwreck, yes, but how do we know that they're two? Is that the person she's interested in? Did we cover that last week?
Didn't we?
I don't remember if we covered that tell or not.
I believe we did.
Oh, okay. Yes. Okay. So apparently we got to that part of the story.
And that gentleman talked about his love for Helene, and that she had promised herself to him. But Jack Pringle, told him, you better check on things since you've been gone a while.
Right, because it's very possible when you get back home, your girl's going to be with somebody else, you know.
Mm-hmm. And so now they've heard rumors, and Jack is on his way.
So for those of you who have never joined us, we read vampire stories every Wednesday night at 7 Central. She will read most of the story. I will read the parts for Varney. So do I have some lines in this chapter?
Not so much in this one, I do believe, but maybe you do have some lines tonight.
Excellent. So during the times that she's reading, I will be responding in our chats through her account. Make sure to follow that one, and make sure to follow me if you have never followed me before. Are you ready, dear?
I'm ready. You are free this chapter. There is no lines for you. There are no lines for you. The English language, mercy me. Jack Pringle never promised anything without an intention of performing it, whether he could succeed or not, and accordingly when he promised that he would make due and diligent inquiry, for the purpose of ascertaining if Helene Williams was indeed faithless, he proceeded at once to do so in the most direct manner in the world, by calling upon no less a personage than Mrs. Williams herself, and popping the question to her in a manner which almost precluded the possibility of her returning anything but a direct answer. This was a measure which few persons would have attempted, but having, as it had, all the characteristics of boldness about it, it was not one that he was likely to fail in, but upon the contrary, calculated in every respect to be eminently successful.
Those are fun words.
Yes, the ones that make you stumble over them.
Mm-hmm.
He proceeded to the town in perfect ignorance of its locality, or even of the abode of Mrs. Williams, except so far as a very involved description had been given to him on the route to her house by the old sailor's son, Tom, who certainly was not the best hand in the world at directions. But Jack was never at a loss, for somehow or another, by the force of good-tempered manner that he had, he contrived to make friends whenever he went, and among them he soon found one who was willing in every respect, and pains to him, to take him and walk with him to the door of Mrs. Williams.
"Thank you, messmate,"
said Jack.
"and if ever I meet you again, you may make up your mind that you have met a friend. And so this is Mrs. Williams, is it?"
"Oh, yes," said the man.
"This is Mrs. Williams. And what sort of creature is she?"
"Oh, why,
"As to that, she's not the sort of woman I like, but there's no accounting for taste, you know. And all other people might like her very well."
"Oh, well, then you're a sensible fellow," said Jack,
"and I should say you have quite the wit enough about you that if you fell into the fire, you'd get out again as soon as you could."
The man hardly knew whether to take this as a compliment or not, but at all events he bade Jack good day civilly enough, and took no notice of it. Jack then boldly knocked at the door, and when the one miserable servant of the Williamses made her appearance, and asked him what he wanted, he replied,
"Why, I have a principality called to tell you."
"Principally, not principality. Pardon me."
"I have principally called to tell you what a remarkably fine girl you are, and after that I should like to see Mother Williams."
"Go along with ye," said the girl. "You're only joking, and I can tell that the missus would just as soon give you a constable as to look at you."
"Oh, no, she wouldn't," said Jack, "for good-looking fellows are scarce. and I dare say that she knows that as well as possible that she would much rather keep me herself than give me to anybody.
Pull my hair out of my face.
I love you so much, darling.
Well, I'm sure, said the girl. You're like all the rest of the men and have a pretty good opinion of yourself. But if you really want to see the missus, I might as well tell you. I'll go tell her at once.
To be sure, said Jack.
Mrs. Williams, from a room on the ground floor, had heard that some sort of conversation was going on at the street door, and she called out, Susan, Susan, how dare you be talking there to anybody? Who is that, I say, and tell me who that is immediately.
It's me, ma'am, Jack.
And who is me?
Why, ma'am, I've come on a delicate mission. I've got something to say to you as rather particular.
Mrs. Williams' curiosity was excited, and perhaps some of her fears, for when she had told Helene that she was drowned in debt, she had, hyperbolically speaking, not far exceeded the truth, and therefore she dreaded refusing seeing anyone who came to ask her, lest, smarting under the aggravation of such a proceeding, the party, be he whom he might, should leave some message that it would not be quite pleasant to her for Susan to hear. This was the respect, then, which placed Mrs. Williams positively at the mercy of any who chose to call upon her, and which induced her to give an audience even to Jack Pringle, who, under ordinary circumstances, she would, as Susan correctly observed, have not scrupled to place in the hands of some guardian of public peace as an intruder into her home. When Jack was shown into the apartment, where the lady waited to receive him, he made what he considered a highly fashionable and elegant bow, which consisted of laying hold of a lock of his hair in front and giving it a jerking pull at the same moment that he kicked out his foot behind him and upset a chair. We've got a picture.
These are the original woodblock prints from the story that was written in the 1840s. This is over 180 years old, or roughly 180 years old.
How do you do, ma'am?
You have the advantage of me, said Mrs. Williams.
I rather think I have, and I mean to keep it. An old out-and-out thing it would be if I hadn't, seeing the many voyages that I've had, when I dare say you were never out of sight of land in all your life.
Well, I certainly never was. And I hope that I'm speaking to some officer and not to anybody common.
Oh, well, yes, ma'am, said Jack. I'm a rear admiral of the Green, and what I come to ask you is that if there's going to be a marriage in your family.
Rather an eccentric character, thought Mrs. Williams, but anybody may see in a moment that he is a gentleman, or else he would not be an admiral of the Green. I know there are admirals of all sorts of colors, and so I've no doubt that he is correct. Yes, sir. There is going to be a marriage in my family, and I am proud to say for my daughter, Helene, is going to marry what might be called quite a foreign potentate.
A foreign potato? None of your gammon. Don't be poking your fun at me.
A foreign potentate, I said, sir. A kind of monarch. A potentate, you know.
Oh, I understands. I dare say them fellows lives on potatoes, and yet why they call them such. But are you sure it's your daughter, Helene? Because I was thinking of proposing to her myself.
Really then, Admiral Green, I'm very sorry, but she is going to be married to Baron Stollmeyer of Salzburg.
That's really Varney.
The Baron of what, did you say? Stonemason? Saltpot? What an old name, to be sure.
Oh, dear me, what an eccentric character, thought Mrs. Williams, but quite the gentleman. Admiral Green, it's Stollmeyer of Salzburg. It's the Baron's name.
Oh, well, I knew it was something about salt. But however, it don't matter. And when's the ceremony to come off, ma'am?
It is left to me, sir, to fix the day, and I shall do so, of course, at my convenience. And I can only express my great regret, Admiral Green, that you should have been too late. But you see, the Baron's offer was so unexceptionable, and he is really quite a wealthy individual, which his offering me a cheque for £500 is convincing proof that I really could not think of refusing him.
What? £500?
Oh yes, I assure you, Admiral Green, that he has pressed upon my acceptance of £500.
The stingy devil.
Stingy?
Rather. Why, I meant to have asked you to accept a couple of thousand and a large estate that I've thought, which brings in as much every year, and that I really don't want.
£2,000 and an estate? Oh, gracious Providence! And I don't know what to say to that. Really, Admiral Green, you're so very liberal, that upon my word I'm quite puzzled. £2,000 and an estate worth £2,000 a year. Did you really mean that, Admiral Green?
To be sure I did. What else could I mean? But I don't want to interfere with a foreign potato and a barren salt box.
Oh, well, but my dear sir, stop a moment. Let me think.
Oh, no, ma'am, said Jack. I ain't quite such a humbug as you takes me for. I say nothing, but it's very likely that your Baron will turn out to be some half-starved swindler who's going to wind up his affairs by doing you and starves you right. It serves you right, too. I wishes you good morning, ma'am.
And so saying, Jack, despite the remonstrances of Mrs. Williams, whose cupidity was so strongly excited by what he had said, that she would gladly have thrown overboard the Baron, and who now began to look with something like contempt upon the £500, which she had before thought was quite a large sum.
We got to 50,000 taps, which means
Oh, lovely.
I had to do some magic for everyone.
How? Oh! Wow, if I hadn't opened my mouth, that hit my teeth.
Oh. It's okay.
But
Do you need me to kiss it and make it better?
Well, it might have hurt my lip
Oh,
had I not happened to open my mouth at that moment.
I'm glad you opened your mouth, dear.
I'm glad
so
I
you
did
could,
as well.
So you could stick it in the mouth instead of on the lips.
How odd is it, she exclaimed when she was alone, how odd is it that after I had been looking about, I don't know how long, for a decent match for some of the girls, all the men should come at once and want Helene. It's an extraordinary thing to me, very extraordinary. Oh dear me, if I but have secured Admiral Green for Juliana, and so got her married on the same day with Helene, there would have been £2,500 for me all at once. What a capital thing.
We are getting a spam caller.
What a capital thing. I would not have spoken of it to anybody, but I would have paid all the tradespeople about here 8p in a pound as composition, and then I could have gone and lived in London. London! Oh, how comfortably I could have lived in London. Thus it is ever with such a schemer as Mrs. Williams. Success brings with it quite as many evils and distressful things and feelings of failure, and now the agony of what she thought she had lost, much more than counterbalanced any satisfaction that they might have had in procuring her daughter's consent to marriage the Baron. The consent, although we know how it was wrung from Helen, we certainly much blame her for giving, because no human power could really force her to marry anyone who was not her choice, and the mere fact that her mother represented how deeply she was in debt ought not to have been sufficient to induce Helen to consent. She might and ought to have taken a much higher view of the subject, a view which should have excluded a consideration of James Andrew. That view should have been a refusal to commit her perjury of solemnity, vowing before heaven to love and honor a man for whom she entertained such opposite feelings. But Helene was not a close reasoner, and although all the argument was upon her side, and all the propriety and all the justice, we grieve to say that she did not avail herself of either to the extent she ought to have done, but on the contrary gave up those moments to regret which should have been far better employed in resistance. When the consent which we have recorded had been wrung from her, she gave herself up to the most melancholy reflections, weeping incessantly, and calling upon heaven to help her from the pressure of the circumstances which she was quite competent to relieve herself from, if she could have persuaded herself to make the necessary efforts. At last, it seemed to her that she had hit upon a plan which might afford her some relief, but in projecting it, she little knew the real character of the man that she had to deal with. This scheme was to tell the Baron candidly that she loved another, and whether that other was living or not, his remembrance would so cling to her that she could never love another, and that in making her his wife, he, the Baron, would be laying up for himself a source of regret and disquietude in the feelings that he possessed one whose affections he could never hope to obtain. Surely, thought Helen,
Don't call me Shirley, he said.
if he be at all human, and if he have any of the natural pride of manhood about him, he will shrink from attempting to continue a suit that must be mortifying in every one of its stages, and which cannot confer upon him even the shadow of happiness.
Good job, dear. Thank you so much for reading to us. She's going to rest her voice for just a little bit while we're on the chapter break. Everyone, thank you so much for all the taps. And every 50,000 of those, we do magic for you. So we're currently 43,000 away from the next magic trick. I will definitely have some more reading that I'll be doing in this next chapter. I can already see it. I read the parts for the vampire. She reads everything else. So I have the important parts. She's resting her voice, so she's not going to talk back to me as much. She doesn't currently read for any audiobooks, and who knows, maybe someday she'll decide to do so, but she is very happy to prepare to read for all of you. What
You
did we
can
do?
help us, though, if you...
Yep. What did we do for the smoke damage? We haven't done anything for the smoke damage yet. I will be figuring
I'm
that
not
out.
sure if you can say that word over and over.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah.
Because it mimics some
some
other
of the
topics
things that people aren't supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Yes. She does have a wonderful voice. I could listen to it all day and all night, and I'm glad I could share her reading to you. This is something I've enjoyed almost our entire marriage. She's read to me, and I'm very glad that I could share it with you. Let's see. So I guess we've got a whole marriage situation that's going on, and where is all this going to go? I suppose Varney's going to end up having to face up with these guys.
Well, Jack is in town.
Yeah, and Jack and Varney have definitely been at it before.
Thank you.
How did we meet? She was dating my roommate and got invited to go to a music festival with us. They broke up, but she still came with us to a music festival, and I got to know her while we were there, and the next week we got engaged. She didn't think I liked her at first, and it was because my roommate was being all weird and trying to pretend to be somebody he wasn't to be with her, and I kept saying, look, you guys, you need to quit pretending, dude. This isn't the way it should work out. You need to just break this off. There's no reason why you should be pretending. She assumed I didn't like her, and I was telling her, but I didn't like the way he was behaving. He was pretending to be someone he wasn't in order to be with her, and that wasn't good. So, well, we got to see this guy earlier this year, I guess. We're still friends.
The cheesecake is taking a nap in the refrigerator.
Mm-hmm.
We'll wake it up tomorrow afternoon.
Thank you, darling. How's your voice? Are you about ready to go again?
I am.
Okay. All right, so we're reading Varney the Vampire. This is from the 1840s. I'll be reading the parts for the vampire Varney, but right now he's disguised as Baron Sodemure.
When she was to receive so handsome a reward for the intelligence that she had wrung a reluctant consent from Helen to be the Baron's bride, it was not likely that Mrs. Williams would let a long time elapse before she communicated that fact to him, and accordingly she started to do so personally. It would appear that the Baron fully expected her, for he made no remark at all expressive of surprise, but received her with that of courtly grace which Mrs. Williams attributed to his intercourse with the highest and the noblest. There's that word again, and how it's changed in usage.
Yes.
He did not seem so impatient as one would have supposed a very ardent lover would have been, and before he would allow Mrs. Williams at all to enter into the object of her visit, he requested her to be seated, and would insist upon placing before her some of the very choicest refreshments. Indeed, as often as she then attempted to enter into the subject matter which had brought her there, he interrupted her with some remark on a different nature, so that she found it very difficult to say anything regarding it. At length, however, when he had satisfied the claims of
I
hospitality,
presume that I shall have the pleasure of listening to something particularly pleasant and delightful to me, inasmuch as it will convey to me the realization of my dearest hopes.
Why, my Lord Baron, I must confess that notwithstanding the extremely liberal offers of Admiral Green.
Admiral Green, madam? This is the first moment I have heard of such a personage.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. But for all that, since we have had the honor of your offer for the hand of Helene, Admiral Green has also made one, and such a liberal one that it is quite distressing to refuse him.
Then allow me to say, madam, that I hope you won't distress yourself about it. But accept of Admiral Green at once. I should be very sorry indeed to stand in the way of any advantageous arrangement, and therefore I beg you will close with Admiral Green.
The adage about coming to the ground between two stools forcibly presented itself to the memory of Mrs. Williams, and she replied in a great hurry, oh no, Baron, certainly not, certainly not. I have refused the Admiral on your account. I told him most distinctly that I could not think of entertaining his offer for a moment, and I refused him at once.
Then why trouble me about him, madam?
Oh, I thought that I would merely mention it, because the Admiral said that he would have great pleasure, which of course was a very liberal thing of him, in handing me a cheque for £2,000.
Oh, now I understand. I give you credit, madam, for having a good reason for making this report to me. You think that I may be induced to emulate the magnificence of Admiral Green, but when I assure you that I have not the remotest intention of so doing, probably you will think that it would have been just as well if the matter had not ever been mentioned.
The Baron was right, for Mrs. Williams did not think so, and she felt all that bitterness of her disappointment which wonderfully clever people do feel when they find that some pet scheme has most signally failed, leaving behind it all the consequences of a failure. And whatever people may say to the contrary, failures do always have bad consequences, and never leave the circumstances exactly where they were. There was rather an awkward pause of some moments' duration, and then Mrs. Williams thought that she would get over the Baron completely, for she put on the most amiable smile that she could, and she said, my dear Baron, I am sure that we shall all be more the happy, and as a united family that can possibly be imagined, and it is the greatest pleasure to me to be able to give you the intelligence that my daughter has consented to become yours.
Madam, I am much obliged.
And although Admiral Green did say that if I would bring him similar intelligence, that he would there and then on the spot, without any further delay, hand me 2,000 pounds. I said to him, Admiral Green, I am only to get 500 from the Baron Solmeyer of Salzburg, and that 500 pounds he has likewise promised to pay me down. Down. You understand, Baron?
Madam, I am not deaf.
Oh, that you understand. Down.
I begin to see you want the money. Why could you not say so at once? It's of no use hinting things to me, but if you had said it to me at once, Baron, I have brought you the consent of the marriage, and now I expect at once the 500 pounds that I am to receive, and so doing I should have understood you, and said at once, Oh, certainly, madam, here is the money, as I do now. You will find that the check drawn for the amount.
What a charming thing it is. What a charming thing it is to do business in such a real business sort of way. But there are so few people, Baron, with your habits, and upon whom one can so thoroughly depend as one can upon you.
Madam, you do me too much honor. Of course, having promised you this insignificant sum of money, it was not likely that I should but keep my word. And now, let me ask, when is to be the happy day?
If this day next week will suit you, Baron.
Wonderfully well, madam, wonderfully well.
Then we will consider that as settled. I suppose that you will have a public marriage?
No, strictly private. I am resolved, madam, not to have more than 150 people, and to keep the expenses within 1,000 pounds. As you see, I'm going to do it in the plainest possible manner, and make no fuss at all about it.
Gracious Providence, thought Mrs. Williams. What would he call a public marriage, if he considers 1,000 pounds expense and 150 guests a private one, and making no fuss about it?
On one of my former marriages,
said the Baron with an air of abstraction. Oh, one of them? Said Mrs. Williams. May I presume to ask how often you have been married, my lord?
Oh, certainly. Let me see. I think 11 times.
11 times? And pray, sir, what became of your wives?
Why, really, madam, I cannot say. Hope the majority of them went to heaven, but there were one or two I most certainly wished to...
Say it again.
Okay. Why, really, madam, I cannot say. Hope the majority of them went to heaven, but there were one or two I most certainly wished to the other place.
That's so funny to me that made him blush so much.
It made me giggle, yes.
My gracious, thought Mrs. Williams. He's quite the Bluebeard. Mrs. Williams. But however, things have gone too far now, and I'm not going to give up my check. If he had 20 wives, and after all, it shows that he must be a man of great experience and of great wealth too, or so many women would not have had him. But if that little fact about all his wives should come to the ears of Helene, I'm really afraid that she wouldn't have him, so I must caution him about it. My Lord Baron.
Yes, madam.
I think that between you and I, my lord, that it would be quite as well to say nothing to my daughter about her being the 12th wife, but just let her quietly think that she is the first, because, you know, my lord, that young people have prejudices upon those subjects, and she might not exactly, like the idea.
Oh, certainly, madam. I shall not mention the little affairs that have preceded hers, I assure you. I am quite aware that it is likely there should be a prejudice against a man who has had 11 wives, and people will think that he maybe smothered a few of them.
Oh, good gracious! You don't mean that, my Lord Baron. I hope that nobody ever accused you of such a thing.
Nay, how The best of us escape censor. You know as well as Miss Williams what a bad world it is we live in, and how dreadfully selfish people are.
Oh, yes, that's remarkably true. But it ain't often, my Lord Baron, that one man has 11 wives.
No, it ain't often that such a man would exactly like to venture upon a 12th.
Well, no, there is something in that. But I will now, my lord, take my leave, entertaining no doubt whatever but that this will be an extremely happy marriage, and in every respect just what we might all of us desire. Mrs. Williams left the Baron with these words, but to say that she believed them would be to make by far too powerful an experiment upon the credulity of our readers. When he was alone, the Baron smiled, a strange and ghastly smile.
That woman is so fond of gold that she sells her child without hesitation to me. If upon hearing of my pretend marriages she had given me back my money, I should have thought some good of her. But no, that she could not do. Money is her idol, and when it is in her possession, she could not dream of parting with it. But what is it to me? Have I not made up my mind to this affair? Let the consequences be what they may. Have I not resolved upon it in every possible shape? Henceforth I will cast aside all feelings of regret, and live with myself and for myself alone, for what I have now to hope and what I have now to fear from mankind.
Oh, the puzzle piece.
Oh. I'm still human. Oh. Try it again. There we go.
Can you
Ooh.
hear him?
I think everybody can hear me.
Oh, good. I feel like you're being a little soft.
But he's mumbling to himself, dear. It should be soft, right?
I suppose.
He's not going to be chuckling out loud about this. It's going to be a soft murmur. Hope. Did I say I had nothing to hope? I was wrong. I have something to hope. And it is something I will have. It is revenge. Yes, it is revenge. Revenge, which I must and will have against society that has made me what I am. And the time shall come when my name shall be a greater terror than it is, and that to some were needless, for it is such a terror already, that but to mention it would cause a commotion of frightful inquietude. That's an unusual word.
He looked from one of the windows of his house, and he saw Mrs. Williams, as she proceeded down one of the garden walks, take his check from out of her reticule, where she had placed it, and looked at it attentively.
Ah, now she is worshipping her divinity gold. She knows that that piece of paper carries weight, and that flimsy as it looks, it is sufficient to purchase her. Fool. And she thinks she is buying contentment.
Ooh.
How many people in the world still think they can buy contentment? This book is a bit of a tongue twister in times because it's written 200 years ago, and it's set 20 years before it was written.
It just fluffs my feathers up, though.
Does it?
I'm very ruffled.
Why are you ruffled?
Well, and I know it's something that people used to do, and in some circles still do.
What?
Sell their child off to the highest bidder.
Well, I would sell my son off to the highest bidder if it was enough money. Anybody interested? He's cute.
You said goats.
Yeah, well, enough goats. Goats can be turned into money.
So this is Varney the Vampire. It was written in the 1840s. What does contentment mean, dear?
So contentment, being satisfied with one's life, being comfortable in your situation, and kind of like a happiness in your situation would be contentment. Many people think they're going to find that in money. They think the reason why they're unhappy is because they don't have money. And it's one of the reasons why people that win the lottery find themselves extremely unhappy because they spent much of their life thinking the reason why I'm unhappy is a lack of money. Now that they have money, they're still unhappy and they can't blame it on the lack of money anymore. What is it?
Kelly said that Ransom tried
Yes.
to sell Savior off.
Yes, he was offering 6 chickens and 1 rooster for Xavier's hand in marriage earlier. We did hit the lottery on each
have
other.
Mercy.
Were you guys the kids in high school that galloped down the hallway to get to class? Absolutely not. I cut class.
I was the kind of person that ran to get to class.
Yes, every 50K. Yes, I skipped class as much as I could. I never did any work. I was always in trouble. I graduated high school with a 1.01 GPA. I did the bare minimum that I could do. I showed up, passed the tests, and I skipped class the rest of the time. I would get in trouble. I was an AP scholar. I passed 3 AP tests, and I got a 33 on the ACT. But I never showed up for classes or anything except on test days.
Thank you so much for all of your wonderful work. The necklace isn't heavy at all. It's I got it at Walmart in the sales aisle for $3, and it's pretty light. Just another minute of rest.
Okay, we'll give you some more time. I got to read quite a bit for you during that one, so I'm sure that helped a little bit.
It did.
Thank you, everyone. You guys are super duper kind. And thank you for sharing the video today. We're almost to 400,000 followers. I think by the end of this reading, we will be over 400,000 followers. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. Yar, I be Captain Shane the Vampire.
All
Get
right.
that suit for $2.50. The gold came from Wish. It was probably like $7 or $8. The shirt, I want to say, was probably $25 or $30 for the shirt. And these pants came from the Good Deal bin store for $10. So a little bit more than $2.50, but not a lot more.
Yeah, it doesn't take as much as you would think to have some fun outfits and accessories.
You ready?
I am. This is a short chapter, so
Do I
I'm
have
going
lines
to
in
have
this
another one.
Doesn't look like it.
Nope, you do not
Okay.
have lines in this one.
All right, I'll be typing to you through the wife's account. Make sure to follow it if you have not already.
For those of you in the land of TikTok. About 3 days after the transactions which we have just recorded, the Admiral received a call from his friend the attorney, and that call had a double object. In the first place, the man of law wanted to tell him how he was proceeding as regarding the Quaker, and there they had a great tussle about what was to be done. For when the attorney said to him, "Now, Admiral, as regards to this assault upon Mr. Shepherd, all that can be done is to let him prove his case, and then come up for judgment, and move in the court in mitigation. I dare say that you will be dragged up to Westminster Hall for judgment, and I should not at all wonder but you will get off with a fine of 6 and 8 pence.
Why, what do you mean? Said the Admiral. By letting him do what he likes?
In effect, it's the same thing as pleading guilty, to a charge brought against you, and by doing so, you, to a great extent, disarm justice.
Guilty?
Roared the Admiral.
Guilty? You will be a long time indeed in convincing me that there is any guilt in kicking a Quaker, and especially such a Quaker as Mr. Shepherd. Why, I'll do it again, and think it as I do now, a meritorious action.
Yes, but you misunderstand me. It's called guilt. In law, to do anything contrary to the law. And by pleading guilty, you do no more than just admit the fact that you have kicked the Quaker.
Why, that's quite another thing, and I have no objection to that fact whatsoever. But don't call it being guilty, for that's all moonshine, and I won't have it at any price. Guilty be unalived. I think that I see it, guilty of kicking a Quaker indeed. I have half a mind to go and kick him again, just on purpose, and I don't know but what I may do it yet.
Well, well, Admiral. Now that we have settled that knotty point, I have something else to tell you, of a more agreeable nature.
Out with it, out with it.
It is this. You recollect that upon the marriage of Miss Flora Bannerworth with your nephew, Mr. Charles Holland, the marriage feast, you mean?
So everybody, just so you know, this was a time when Quakers were very discriminated against. And so they
Are Quakers still in practice?
well, I think the Quakers eventually begot the Amish, and some of the other things kind of came about through that group, and they kind of melded into other things. I think some of that was one of the sects that kind of broke off from the Quakers, but there's probably still some somewhere. But so it's a
the Quakers and the Shakers.
Yes, it was a religious group, and somebody says they know some Quakers.
Oh,
very cool.
See?
Yeah, Pennsylvania would have been a very big concentration of them, but in England they were pretty much kicked out of England, which is why they went to the New World, and having them here in England is a problem. Like it's discrimination. So that's what they're talking about when they're talking about a Quaker. All right.
The marriage feast, you mean? For as far as the marriage was concerned, they all got the better of the old man.
Oh, yes, the marriage feast. You recollect that upon that occasion you gave me leave to invite a number of persons, all of whom were very grateful, and thought very highly of you and the honor of coming into your company.
A devil of a sensible fellow this lawyer is, thought the Admiral. It's enough to make one take to lawyers. I'll be unalived if it ain't. Go on, go on. What of all that? I'm sure that I was well pleased to see them as they were to see me.
Well, sir, it appears that some of these persons, and especially a family of the name of Clark, have been exceedingly anxious to bestow some civility upon you in return, and, as they have been invited to a wedding, they wish to prevail upon you to go with them, as it will be a very stylish affair.
Ah, well, I don't mind, said the Admiral. Where is it?
It's as far as 20 miles off, at a place called Addenbury, and it is wished that you should bring anybody you like with you upon this occasion.
Well, it's civil at all events, and I don't mind if Henry and Charles and Flora like it. But when you mention Addenbury, I'll be unalived if I don't think that's the very place that Jack Pringle has gone to get sight of the salt water for the benefit of his health.
Well, sir, it will have none less recommendation to you. I dare say that it is close to the sea.
You're right, then, and I can tell you that I was thinking of going myself, because, you know, what suits Jack in those respects is pretty well sure to suit me. And I thought that as the vagabond was enjoying himself down by the sea-coast, that I might as well go and do so likewise.
Well, sir, then I may consider that I have your full consent to the arrangement, and that I am sure that it will be received by the parties with a great deal of satisfaction indeed.
Well, well, somehow or another you take me over to things, so I'll go without making any more of a fuss about it, and I will take Henry with me, and Charles, and Flora, and I'd take old Varney the Vampire, too, if we had him here. It would be a good bit of fun to take such a fellow as that to a wedding.
He would not be the most welcome guest in the world.
Ha! No, I should think not. But who is our invitation to come from?
They will come from the bride's mother, as the people I have told you are so anxious to take you with them are friends of hers.
Well, very good, very good. So as it's all right, I will speak to Henry about it, and Flora, and I dare say that we will all manage to get there comfortably enough. Let me see. It's just 2 stages for post horses. Well, well. Well, lawyer, you may look upon it as decided as it is to be, and there is an end of it.
In due course, on the following day, there came a note to Admiral Bell, enclosing a card on which was said, Mrs. Williams requests that Mrs. Williams requests the honor of Admiral Bell's company with his party for breakfast on the 10th instant at 2 o'clock on the occasion of the celebration of the nuptials of Miss Helene Fedora Williams with the Baron Stolmeyer of Salzburg, etc., etc., at Anderbury on the Mount.
So for those of you who weren't a part of our story reading before, the Admiral and Varney are probably not on the best of terms, to say the least. And now the Baron is Varney, so the Admiral just got invited to go to the wedding, and he will certainly recognize Varney, and who knows what shenanigans will ensue from that.
The devil, said the Admiral. This is an odd affair. Something slashing out of the way, I should say. Breakfast at 2 o'clock. That's the darndest piece of humbug in the whole affair. Who the devil is to wait for their breakfast till 2 o'clock? I never heard anything better than that. But I suppose there will be something to eat, so I shall take the liberty of having my breakfast at 7 in the morning, and calling that my dinner. And my lunch I will manage to get at some point on an inn on the road.
With this card of invitation in his hand, the Admiral went to Flora and laid it before her, saying,
Here be some fine fun, Flora, for you. This is the invitation that I spoke to you of, and they are going to have breakfast at 2 o'clock, lunch, I suppose, at 5, and dinner at 9, and a cup of coffee about midnight. Supper at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I suppose they will get to bed about daybreak.
Flora laughed as she pursued the card, and then she said, It certainly promises to be quite a fine affair, Uncle, and, at all events, as we are only guests, we shall be able to fully enter into an amusement of the affair, if there be any, and I am inclined to think that there will be, and by the rather pompous reading of the card, and the invitation which has been so civilly sent to us.
If they are ridiculous people, we will laugh at them, and they cannot expect but that we should. And if they should turn out to be otherwise, they may become very pleasant acquaintances, you know.
Assuredly, and it will not do to judge people always by such trivial pieces of evidence as a card of invitation can afford one. So I will endeavor to go to the wedding with an impression that they are agreeable people, an impression which, considering the complimentary manner in which they have invited us, we ought to cultivate.
Very good. And do you speak to Charles about it, for I have not had an opportunity of so doing. And as the people have invited us handsomely, I think we ought to go in a manner so as to do them as much credit as possible, and therefore I should say that a coach and 4 with positions will be the plan, and look rather stylish.
Oh, Uncle, you will be mistaken for the bridegroom.
Shall I? Ha! Very well, I am willing that I should be, always provided I may chance to admire the bride, but if I do not, you may be sure that I shall take pretty good care to explain the error.
We are over 100,000, which means
Yay!
I have to do some magic for you guys.
I will rest my voice.
All right. So I'm going to do my world famous card trick. I'm the only person in the world that can do this. What I have here is a deck of cards. What I'm going to do is flip over a card from this deck, put it in backwards. Not that impressive, I know. You'll get to pick the card. That might make it more impressive. But what I think will make it more impressive, and what makes me the only person in the world that can do this, is I'm going to do it using only my tongue. Somebody name a card.
I'm waiting. The 2 of Spades.
Oh.
Now all the cards come in.
Mm.
But he's doing the 2 of Spades tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, thank you. Unfortunately, I can't read the one on this one. It's so tiny. Oh, it's good exercise for him. He has a talented tongue.
Ah.
I am one happy wife, you're agreed.
All right, let's see if you can spot that 2 of Spades. You see it there? What about this one right here? See this? Would this be cool if this were the 2 of spades? Laura, if I just picked your card, you should send me a galaxy to say thank you. You don't have
Thank you
to.
so
I'm
much.
just kidding.
Thank you so very much, everyone.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
We are missing our whole platform where he has the imposter this evening.
Yes, I cannot be on the Book of the Faces right now. I'm still banned, probably forever. It's probably not going to be undone, and I'll have to start over. And the imposter still exists with 130,000 followers stealing my content every day on that platform. It's very frustrating.
So if any of you do go to that platform, be sure to report as much as you can and to just unfollow that person because they are stealing his content.
Yes. Aw,
Thank you so
Laura,
much.
I was being silly, but thank you very much. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
you. You guys are super kind. On the book that has faces on it.
But just to say, that person is actually making money off of pretending to be Shane. And a considerable sum, too.
He uses my name and my face on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
I have an account that is Shane is Great. That is mine, which is my handle everywhere. He just uses my straight up name, and I had a regular personal account with my name on it that was blue check verified.
That he had since
I've had since 2008 or 2009, and for whatever reason they chose the imposter's account over mine and removed mine. It's been wild, and now I can't. And that's the account I would usually use to access my
We
Shane.
probably are going to have a lawyer write a letter at least.
That's the account I would use to access my Shane is Great account, and so I can't be live on my Shane is Great account right now because of that.
Hello.
Salt water has nothing to do with our vocal cords. It's entirely for electrolytes. We're drinking it because it's good for our electrolytes.
Yeah, wouldn't Meta have to disclose who it was that was stealing your content so we could pursue legal?
I don't know. Like, it's when you're getting into trying to press charges against a huge corporation, it's not an easy task. They have many full-time lawyers.
Not to the corporation, but to the person who's been stealing your content.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because that gentleman or whoever that is, probably.
You're a lawyer. Do you want to help me?
That person is actually stealing revenue from Shane through this.
Right, and they're deceiving people. Like, it scared me. The person that was talking about, they published my video with the family with cancer last week, and people were talking like, hey, I'll donate on this fake imposter's account. And he was replying back to them. And if they ended up giving money to him, it'll never get to that family. But he's using my name, he's using my photos, he's using my content, and I can't do anything to stop it. Literally, I'm totally removed from the platform for trying to stop it.
Thank you.
Yeah, it has 132,000 followers. Yeah, it's pretty wild. Hopefully one day we will be able to meet. So there's been a lot of people report the imposter account. It doesn't do any good, but for whatever reason they took mine down when I talked about it. And not just took it down, they permanently removed it. Like, I was told there is no appeal, there's nothing I can do, I will not get it back.
But we're still trying. Copyright your name.
Yep.
That's very messed up.
Shane is Great is a real account.
Yeah, Shane is Great with the blue check mark is him.
Yes, but I can't get into that account now because the account I used to access it was removed. So I don't know if I'll ever be able to even get that account back.
The one that's out there that says Shane McKinney and has
132,000 followers. That one is fake. And, yep. They just steal my content and publish my photos and videos.
Yep, anything that he posts on TikTok, the imposter takes and then reposts it to the
to that Meta platform.
Yep. So any new content you see, if it says Shane McKinney on that platform, is not.
No, he uses my photos and he uses my videos.
He's using his name completely.
He uses my name completely.
He's pretending to be Shane.
Yes. Watermarks are not going to help. So
The watermarks does not a copyright make.
no, that's not the same thing. No, I can already prove that it's my content, and it's not legal, but it's in the gray areas of the law. So, all right, how's your voice? Do you want to rest a little bit more before you start reading, or
I'll do one more.
do I have lines in this one?
No,
Oh.
you do not.
I get to talk to everybody through the
You
wife's
do.
account.
But was it time? Oh, you did the magic trick.
Yeah. Yeah, I did a magic trick.
Mhm.
The next magic trick will be at 40,000 likes.
The report, which in accordance with what he had heard from Mrs. Williams, Jack Pringle felt himself compelled to make to the young man whom he had saved from the wreck, but too surely convinced him that all his hopes were dashed to the ground, and that it was indeed but too true that Helen had consented to become the wife of another. There could be no mistake in the affair, or the slightest loophole for escaping an entire and complete conviction of the faithlessness of her in whom he had so deeply confided for his future happiness. The blow appeared to fall upon him with a stunning effect, and for some time he seemed to be quite incapable of thought or action. But Jack Pringle rallied him up upon the stage of things, and tried hard to induce him to view the matter with the same kind of philosophy that he would have brought to bear upon it.
"Oh, come, come," he said, "don't be downhearted about a woman. Cheer up, my lad. There's many a better fish in the sea than has ever yet to been got out of it. You may depend upon that."
I could have staked my life upon her good faith.
"Well, likely enough, and so can we all upon the good faith of the woman we happen to love and admire. But what's there in the whole world so common as being jilted by a wench? And when it does happen, a man should whistle her down the wind and forget her all at once and forever."
I have no doubt, said James Anderson, that such is a good philosophy, but it's a hard thing to tear away from the heart at once an image that has lain enshrined in its inmost recesses for many a month.
"Well, perhaps it is, but the best remedy in all the world is to look about for another. I know that from experience in these matters. You do so, and you will soon be able to forget the girl who has jilted you."
James Anderson shook his head and smiled faintly as he said, I fear that I should never love another as I have loved her. The heart, when it once it has loved as I have loved, can never know another feeling. I cannot with any hopes of success undertake such a mode of cure as that which you point out to me.
"Oh, well, you'll think differently in a little while, I can tell you. Time does wonders in these cases, and before you are a month older, you'll be in quite a different frame of mind than what you are now."
I must confess that I should not like to be all my life the subject of never-ending regret, but at the same time I do feel that, let what chances may befall me, I shall never feel another disappointment so bitter as this one. James Anderson, upon making these few remarks, showed a disposition to drop the subject, and as it was one which certainly concerned himself more than anyone else, Jack Pringle and the fisherman both agreed to say no more about it, and it rested. But although he said nothing, the matter was far indeed from being absent from the mind of James Anderson, for it occupied him wholly, and engaged his attention to the extent that all other thoughts were excluded therefrom most entirely and completely. Those who had afforded him so kindly a shelter were not unobservant spectators of this state of mind, and Jack Pringle strove to move him from it by calling his attention to his obligations and duties in other respects.
"Come on, messmate. Ain't it time that you should think of going to London to make your report of how you lost the dispatches that your captain committed to your care?"
It is so, and I shall start this evening.
"Well, that's right, and the best thing you can possibly do, I can tell you. You will get some new appointment, and in the bustle of life you will soon forget all disappointments whatsoever. If you go regularly into the service, you are young enough yet to rise in it, and you may yet live to have a pair of swabs upon your shoulders, I can tell you.
At all events, I can have the comfort in knowing that I have, and by being wrecked here, made some acquaintance which I hope I may always have in the pleasure to retain. I feel myself now quite well enough to walk, and I will get into the town and make some preparations for getting on to London, which I am by your liberality, Mr. Pringle, enabled to do." Jack made a wry face as he said,
"Whatever do you, Miss Mate? Don't call me Mr. Pringle. My name is Jack Pringle, and it always has been Jack Pringle, and it always will be. I begin to think as something must be the matter when anybody calls me Mr. Pringle, and I don't like it a bit."
"Oh, well then I won't again offend you by calling you Mr. But you shall be Jack Pringle, if you like, to me, and I can only say that a more esteemed friend than yourself is not likely that I shall ever encounter in the world." Jack was always much more easy under censure, let it come from where it might, than under a praise, and consequently he fidgeted about in a most alarming manner while James Anderson was professing to him his grateful feelings, and at length he said, belay there, old fellow, that'll do. I don't want any more of that. I can tell you, it's a darned odd thing that a man cannot save a fellow man's life without it being all sorts of odd times thrown in his teeth this way. Don't say any more about it. I ain't used to being persecuted." This was no affection in Jack Pringle. On the contrary, it really was to him a positive persecution to be praised, and as James Anderson now felt fully convinced that such was the case, he determined upon avoiding such for the future. Towards the dusk of the evening, having attained himself as respectably as the wardrobe of the old seaman and his son would permit him, for his own clothing had been completely spoiled by the salt water, he proceeded to the town of Anderbury. By so proceeding, Jack Pringle considered that his principal business would be to get some means of a quick conveyance to London, but James Anderson had another motive in his walk to the town, which he communicated to no one. That motive was a strong desire to see Helene Williams, if he possibly could, before he left, in order that he might hear from her own lips what it was that prevented her in continuing her plighted faith towards him. For he could not, from all he knew of her character, bring himself to believe that it was the wealth of her new suitor that had any effect upon her. "No, no, I know her far better than that for one. Half instant to do her such an injustice, she must have been imposed upon with some account of my unaliving, or some artful and well-arranged tale of perhaps faithlessness upon my part, as hurried into her acceptance of her first offer that has been made to her. If I could but obtain an interview with her for a brief moment, I should know all, and either be able to take her to my heart again, or to find ample reason for forgetting her." He knew the way well to that house, where he had frequently watched Helen enter and emerge from, but how to send any message to her was a matter of required great consideration. He had been absent long enough, no doubt, for some changes to have been made in Mrs. Williams' household, so that although there had been in old times a servant who was favorable to him, and who would not only have taken his message to Helene, but would have told him all the news of the family, she no longer, no doubt, had long since left. After thinking over the matter for some time, so as to come to a conclusion that the difficulty about getting any message or note delivered to Helene almost amounted to an impossibility, he saw a boy come out of the house, apparently to go on some errand, and with a feeling of more desperation than reflection, he spoke to him, saying, "I think that I saw you come out of Mrs. Williams' house, my lad."
"Oh, yes, I did."
"What of it?"
"Hit one of your own size, haven't you done? I haven't done nothing to you."
"You mistake altogether, my boy. I am not going to touch you, you may depend, but on the contrary, I will reward you if you will answer to me what questions that I shall purpose to you, and I assure you that they are all such as you may honestly answer."
Well, I don't know. How much? 1 shilling for every question. Oh, that's a rum way of doing business, but ain't got so bad either. Ask away, and you'll soon see how I earn a shilling. Is Miss Helen going to be married? Yes, a shilling. Who to? To the Baron Stolmeyer and a salt bag, 2 shillings. Will you take note from me to her, if I reward you extra for doing so? Oh, I begin to smell a rat. Yes, I will. You is some other lover, you is. 3 shillings. I am 1 shilling. Oh, what do you mean? Why, my young friend, if I pay you a shilling a question, I don't see why I should not charge you at the same rate. So you don't ask me anything, and then you will get all the shillings to yourself. Do you understand? Oh, well, I don't see any joke in that. I don't want to ask any questions, not I. What will you give me for taking the note? I think that I ought to have half a crown between you and me and the post, because you see, if old Mother Williams was to catch me, she'd serve me out pretty tidy. You shall have your own price of half a crown, and here is the note, which I charge you mind to deliver into the hands of none but Helene herself. All right, I'll do it. And what shall I get if I bring you an answer back? I shall give you another half crown. So you see you will make a very good evening's work of it. Indeed, if you are clever and faithful. Well, give me the note. I'll do it. You may always trust me when there's anything to be got by it. My father brought me up to get my living, and he used to say to me, Caleb, says he, always do your duty. Caleb, to those who employ you when you go out to service in a family, unless somebody offers you something more, not to do it. Quite a philosophical maxim, said James Anderson. I suppose that you are in service to Mrs. Williams? Why, yes, I'm a page of all the work. I am. I do a little of everything, and I make myself generally useful. Where will you wait for me? At this corner, and with due regard to performing your part well. Be as quick as you can on your mission, for I am rather impatient to see the results. Caleb, the page of all work, duly promised to be quick, and after completing an errand that he had been sent upon by Mrs. Williams, he returned to the lady's house. We cannot help thinking that after the principles in which Caleb had announced that he had been brought up, it was rather an indiscreet thing of Anderson to trust him with the note that he had already prepared for Helene, in case of opportunity should present itself of getting it delivered. But he was desperate, and perhaps did not so accurately weigh the pros and cons of the affair as he undoubtedly ought to have done. And here is a picture of Caleb and our wonderful Mr. Anderson. As it was, however, he had a faith in his messenger to which we are sorry to say was most decidedly misplaced. For Caleb did show that he had not forgotten the lessons of his paternal relative, but that, on the contrary, he was disposed to carry them out with great tact and perseverance. Whether or not he would, of his own accord, have set about scheming in a matter we cannot say, but at all events was spared that trouble, for Mrs. Williams had seen from one of the windows of her own house his interview with one who was a stranger to her. For although she had once, before he went to sea, seen James Anderson, he was much altered, and she did not recognize him. And when Caleb came in, she called to him in the parlor, and shut the door. Caleb, I must insist upon knowing immediately who it was that you were talking to just now in the street, and who gave you a note. Caleb was rather staggered at this question, for he did not think that Mrs. Williams had seen him, and after a moment's pause he said, And what will you give us, missus, to know? Give? Give. How dare you ask me such a question? Oh, well, it's no use, missus, getting in a passion about it. I've got an opportunity in earning 8 shillings smugly and comfortably. If you will give me 16 shillings, I'll tell you all about it. And I don't mind saying beforehand that I know, missus, as you won't think it dear at that price. No, nor at 3 times as much if you could only guess what it is. 16 shillings! It must be something wonderful in a way of news that would get you to ask such a sum for it. Well, that's just what it means, missus. Come now, it's a bargain, because I'm in a hurry, and have got never such a load of things to do. Well, well, Caleb, tell me what it is, and give me the note. Not till I have the money, missus. Oh, no, I know better than that. I've got to hold on the fellow as you saw me with. Oh, it's the young boy again. I know better than that. I've got to hold on the fellow as you have saw me with. But I haven't on you. Oh, no, not a deuce a bit. I must have the cash first, and then you shall have the information, and I'll tell you again that it ain't dear at the price as you'll own yourself. The curiosity, as well as the suspicions of Mrs. Williams, were strongly excited, for she began to suspect that something or another was going on in which her interests were involved, inasmuch as upon mature consideration she had come to a conclusion, and that there was more in the visit of Admiral Green than quite met the eye. Well, well, I have only gold in my purse, but you shall have the amount, you may depend, Caleb. If I promise you, I haven't a doubt in the world. But there's nothing like ready money, Mrs. Williams. Nothing at all. So just hand us a sovereign. Here is 4 shillings change, which will be right, you know, for all the world over. This was vexatious, but as it was quite clear that Caleb had thoroughly made up his mind not to part with his information without the cash, Mrs. Williams was compelled to hand the amount to him, which she did not do with the best grace in the world, and then she said, Now, I expect you to tell me all. And so I mean, missus. You don't suppose I'd take 16 shillings of you and not tell you as I've got to tell you? No, missus, I'd scorn the action. Well, don't keep me in suspense, but go on at once. I will. There's a chap at the corner of the street as wants me to give this here letter to Miss Helene and bring him back an answer. A letter to Helene? This is news indeed. And who was he? Well, that I don't know. I'm going to ask him, but somehow or another I found out with a great deal better left alone. But I should not wonder, missus, but you'll find out who he is if you read the note. People, you know, usually put their blessed names at the end of the letter, unless they send what's called a synonymous one.
Synonymous.
This was a good suggestion of Caleb's, and Mrs. Williams, without the smallest scruple as to the fact of opening the letter, addressed to another person, tore asunder the envelope that covered the young Anderson's epistle, and read as follows, in a sufficiently audible tone to enable Caleb to hear every word of it, for, in her intense eagerness, she forgot the fact of his presence. Dearest Helene, I can still address you as such, because I have not yet heard from your own lips, although I have from the lips of others, that you have forgotten me. Can it be true that you are about, and in the face of heaven, to plight those vows to another which were to be mine, and mine only? Oh my! I ask of you, but to you to meet me and tell me yourself that such is the case, and you will meet with neither persecution or reproach from me. Tell me that you are oppressed, and you know well that in me that you have a defender. Name your own time and place of meeting me, and by the boy who will deliver this to you, let me beg of you, by the memory of our old affection, to send me an answer. Yours ever, James Anderson. Well, I say, missus, that's pinching it rather strong, said Caleb.
Wow, I
And
wonder
that's
where
the end of
that's
that
going to
chapter.
go.
Oh, my.
So, the letter did not get into the hands of the person that it was intended for, and I bet Miss Williams isn't going to bother to get it to the daughters.
Oh, I'm certain of that. She's already been quite scandalous to me.
She was willing to sell her daughter's hand to marriage to a person who's already offed 11 wives previous. Yep.
Tut, tut, tut. But that is where we end our story tonight.
Thank you so much, everyone, for hanging out with us. We've really enjoyed our time together.
Thank you so much.
We love you all, and we will be back next Wednesday. Make sure to follow.
Goodbye, my friends. Now that they're gone,